Hey guys, what's up? Mad Season here, back with another video for you. The World of Warcraft Classic release is approaching fast, and everyone is scrambling to figure out what they want to do.
Yep.
What class will I play? What
Warrior.
server? What server type? How many
PvP.
diapers do I need to buy?
Shit
In
my
this
pants.
video, I wanted to make a guide of sorts and build a checklist on how to prepare for the launch of Classic World of Warcraft, and also just give you some tips in general. So let's get the obvious stuff out of the way first, starting with the class. While I won't go into each class one by one, the main thing I'll say is that the classes in Classic are very niche. It's not like the current game, where if you have a tank spec, you're just as capable as tanking as everyone else. For example, paladins, druids, and even shamans are capable of tanking, but
I love how shamans can tank in vanilla WoW. I think they should make that in the game nowadays. See, look at this right here. This is the actual tank. This is, you know, the shamans had enough time. Paladins had his little fun. Druid off-tanked one mob. Feels like he's a god. Now this big dick motherfucker comes in and shows him how it's done.
warriors are seen as, quote, the best tanks in Classic, and as a result, most serious raiding guilds will focus their recruiting on warriors.
You're goddamn right.
For healers, priests are seen as the, quote, best, and as for DPS, Retribution Paladins will have trouble keeping up. It's the early days of MMOs where all of this stuff is still being worked out. For healers, priests are seen as the, quote, best, and as for DPS, Retribution Paladins will have trouble keeping up. And as for DPS, Retribution Paladins will have trouble keeping up.
Fuck this video! Turn it off!
It's the early days of MMOs.
No, turn it off,
And
man.
as for
Turn it
DPS,
off.
Retribution
Turn
it
Paladins
off.
will have trouble keeping up.
Hey,
It's
Turn
the
it
early
off.
days of
Turn it
MMOs
off.
where all of this stuff is still.
Look, dude. I mean, you can still heal, man. Like, you can heal?
I don't want to heal. I don't want to. I want to do damage. I do big dick damage in retail right now. I do more DPS than most people. I want to do big dick damage on Classic too.
Well,
I should have the right.
Okay.
I should have the right to do big dick DPS in Classic. I should have that right.
That's true. I mean, you pay your $15 a month, and they should allow you to do as much damage as possible. And if they don't do that, they're basically stealing your money. Like that's actually a very good point. I agree with that.
being worked out.
Thank
There
you.
really wasn't a standard, so
Okay.
as a result, the balance is questionable in a lot of places. I
Okay.
am a believer that this time around, due to our increased knowledge and skill, things will be a bit easier, and
Yeah, I would
therefore
say so.
guilds will be more lax.
Everybody would say so.
I mean, people 5-manned Onyxia back in 2005,
Yep.
and that was pre-AQ40, so I'm pretty sure you can afford to have a Retribution Paladin or two in the raid.
Yeah.
But still, in
I
regards
guess
to
so.
raiding, class balance, or the lack thereof, is definitely something to consider.
Okay.
You can still find a guild that has a DPS druid. It's just going to be harder than,
Just
say,
a bad
compared
guild.
to a combat rogue. So you got to stay realistic as well. As you can see here,
Okay.
I've listed each class and their viability as I remember it. This is a super fast and loose description, and it really doesn't do the classes justice. In my opinion, one of the cool things with Classic is that these classes bring more than just raw DPS, heals, or mitigation to the table. They have their own and completely unique tools and buffs that still makes them valuable to any raiding guild. For example, druids bring Innervate, which is crucial, and also they're the only ones who have battle res back then.
I think that's a
pretty
good
much
point.
every class has some
Each class is niche. That's one thing that Classic WoW has that BFA doesn't really have. It feels like every class kind of brings everything. The only real things, like what classes really bring something special. You have priests that bring Mass Dispel. You have Mistweavers that do Revival. I think Revival, it's like a raid-wide Dispel. Warlocks obviously have Summoning, and they also have the Gates. Rogues have Shroud of Concealment. Death Grip is borderline. There are very few classes. Enhancement Shaman has totems. Yeah, nobody gives a shit about Enhancement Shamans, man. Sorry to say. But yeah, that's one of the things I really liked about Classic. Go ahead.
Even Blizzard.
They're the last people that care about them. It's sad to say. Go ahead.
Feel so bad for him, man. Dude, Enhancement Shaman used to be like
It used
the
to be
most
like,
exciting gameplay.
yeah.
It used to be amazing.
Yeah, you're right. And then I don't know what happened, but it's gone. Please watch Seth Nesek Star Sector review. I think you'll like the game. I might take a look at that later on, but right now we're going into this. Man, have never played WoW. Would you recommend starting it now or maybe try Classic? Maybe start now and then get into Classic. Then by that time, you'll see which one you like. It's not just about being right or wrong. It's gotcha culture. They just want to win an argument, knowing how stupid the point of position is they're advocating. Yeah, sure, it's whatever. Why don't you read my comments? I don't want to waste my money. $7 now. Wait, you've donated $7 for me to read.
Interesting. Interesting opinion.
Okay. Just a video game. You know damn well if WoW got deleted today, you'd be sobbing just like whenever Swifty lost his WoW account. I wasted $5. I love you. Of course I'd be upset if they deleted the game. That's on a personal level. I'm not trying to tell everybody else that they should be too. It's two completely different things. Thanks for the $7. Really appreciate it. Let me get the next one here. Hi Asmongold, I'm a fairly new player and I'm watching your stream half screen and the other half I'm leveling my 88 warrior. Mainly started because of you. I'm looking forward to enjoying Classic. Keep it up. Scott, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to enjoying it as well. Thank you very much.
Unique aspect to them. If you'd like a more in-depth preview and you have an hour to spare, I do have a full class picky guide for you in the description. It's a tough choice for sure, and with how long it takes to level and the level boosts, it's a super important decision as well.
Okay.
And the next question is always what race to choose.
Thank you,
Similar story going on here with classes. Again, this is the age before hyper balance.
Yep.
Certain races will 100% have an edge over other races, whether it be for PvE or PvP. And
that's right. This is before hyperbalance, and now after hyperbalance. This is after hyperbalance here.
When it's red deck, it means that
that's after hyperbalance. We've actually gone down in classes. Now there's actually even now less classes. Where is it? Wait, which one is it? Oh, there it is.
It's another important thing to consider. My go-to example is always weapon specialization.
Yep.
Humans get increased skill to maces and swords.
More threat.
Back when you actually had weapon skill. And this reduced your glancing blow penalty.
I
which
never
were
get
basically
glancing
weaker
blows.
attacks that
It doesn't
resulted
exist.
from hitting enemies that were a higher level than you. It's super important for raiding, and it's one of the most important stats in the game in fact. As a result, human rogues and warriors have an edge in terms of damage compared.
Oh man, just a minute. I need to take a piss. I just want to look at that guy. That's gonna be me right there. Okay. So I'll let you guys know that that's me on the left there, and that's my alt on the right.
Oh God. I don't even know what the point of watching these fucking videos is, man. He's gonna play Classic 2 months. He's gonna say, alright guys, there's not much to do here. Let's go watch some videos while opening boxes and killing rares on retail. I mean, come on, man. I can't wait to play Classic, dude. Ret's gonna be. I'm gonna find a way to make Ret work. I just know it's gonna be awesome. I just know it. I can't wait. I really want to play so bad. Hi, chat. I hope some of you are having a good day. Again. Most of you. Not all of you. And, of course, I have to say Twitch Prime because who cares?
Okay, Mac. All right, just 1 second. Let me see here. Yes, my wife came in to tell me she got tickets for our trip to our honeymoon. Turns out it was the 28th of August. I told that bitch to go by herself. Now she's not talking to me. Help? Alright. Better solution. Get her into the game. I got my mom addicted to WoW. Instead of telling me to go to bed before my raid, she'd tell me to join my raid. There it is. That's all it takes.
To other races.
Get her into the game.
And on the PvP side of things, orcs get that passive 25% resistance to stuns, which during Classic is huge in PvP. Things were much more bursty back then, and you could really die in a single stun.
That's
so
true.
This is one of the best racials in the game for PvP. In the description, I'll have a link to every single race and their benefits. And again, if you want a more in-depth coverage, I do have dedicated videos for both the Horde and Alliance, also in the description. And the next choice is the server, which can also be pretty tough. Well, first you have PvE versus PvP, which if you started after BFA will be new to you. It's pretty self-explanatory though.
Okay.
On PvE servers, you have to manually flag to engage in PvP with other players in most zones. And for PvP, everyone can attack each other at all times, with the exception of the starting zones. Due to the absence of flying in the game, the world PvP scene as a whole is much more active. You will run into skirmishes when trying to complete quests, or farming a high-level spot, or just traveling to a dungeon or raid. The Stranglethorn Vale zone in particular was always a bloodbath, and the Blackrock Mountain will be the stage for many PvP skirmishes.
It was a good time.
What you prefer is entirely up to your playstyle. Some love it, and some hate it, and just know that with no war mode, it's harder to avoid. Really, it's impossible if you take into consideration no flying, and not just that, but also...
I do feel like, yeah, whenever you didn't have flying, you'd just be riding around and you just fucking see somebody, man. Asmongold hasn't even played vanilla. What do you mean? I started playing in vanilla. I got 60 in vanilla. What do you mean? Like, this whole thing, like... I never thought flying was, like, really, like, bad for world PvP, but I do think that, like... I just think it was and it wasn't. Like, I guess, like, flying was kind of... It did lower the amount of world PvP that would happen, but I think flying's, like, an overall net positive to the game. I guess that's kind of the way that I would look at it. I just wish that they had flying in, like, a better way than they do now. Show pictures of you playing vanilla? Really? Like, you actually want a picture of me playing vanilla? Okay. Let me see if I can find one. There's one right there. You know who Hanky Panky right there is? That's Mick Larivi. He was up at his grandma's house on his HP computer, and I was down at my mom's house on my HP computer. And we cleared dead mines together by ourselves, 2-man. It was fucking beautiful. Beast Slayer enchant? Yeah, there it is right there. Let me see if I have another one. That's another one. That's Zach right there on his mage. And that's me right there on my paladin. I don't know when this was. I think this was actually during BC. But it was a little bit afterwards. There's one right there. There's Zach on the computer. Cameron eating my hot fries. Cody in the back. And myself recording him with my old video camera. This was in 2006. Yeah, we were fucking losers. There's me right there. Age 16. Playing WoW. The reason we took this picture is because it was the first time my room was ever clean. You know, hey, it is what it is. Let me see if I have any other ones. Scrolling all the way down. I don't know where all the rest of these are, but that's basically it. Okay. So I said, you started with Wrath the Lich King? No, I never lied. When did I say... actually, I want to know what this... Like, Black Mamba 86. When did I say that I started in Wrath of the Lich King? Like, I'm really kind of confused about this, because I don't remember ever saying that. Like, when did I ever say... When did I ever say that I started in Wrath of the Lich King? Like, what are you talking about? I'm just confused here. Okay, well, we'll see if he has anything to say. Maybe he didn't mean it. It's just a troll. I don't know. Hopefully. Well, now he'll probably say that, but, you know, everybody knows what's going on here. Fox Slayer, thank you very much for the gifted subs. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, thank you. Show achievements. Listen, dude, I've got everything. Show us your old magic videos. I've got my magic cards right over here, dude. Oh, shit. There it is. I've showed people this a million times on my stream. I stopped after a little bit after Ravnica. But, yeah, here's my cards right here. This is my rare binder. Like, I have a bunch of other binders for other cards, but this is only rares. So only rare cards right here. There it is. You're the best. I know. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, let's go with the rest of these. You got 58 in vanilla, not 60? Nope, I got 60 in vanilla. I did raids, and I did a lot of PvP. I mainly grinded the ladder a lot. I didn't have enough time to get Grand Marshal, and I didn't have enough time to play a lot of the 60 in-game content, which is one of the big reasons why I want to play vanilla, is to finish it and to do all the rest of it. But unfortunately, I never got really the opportunity to do it all back then because, you know, I had to, like, go to my parents' house or go to my dad's house because my parents were divorced, and I could never really meet raid times, unfortunately.
Stuff like cross-realm grouping. The game as a whole today has many workarounds in avoiding PvP, whereas in Classic, your decision is made when you hit the character creation button.
Yep.
Another thing to take into consideration are streamers, which is also a point of contention.
Hey.
Streamers are, of course, a new thing that
I'm gonna
didn't
ruin
exist
this
in the original
game.
run, and they're problematic to some
I'm
players,
gonna ruin the whole
a
game.
benefit to others, and to some insignificant. Again, it's another preference sort of thing, and every streamer has
There
a
it
different
is,
community.
dude.
Some will have a negative impact on the game, and others a positive one. For example, a negative that some people see are the rabid communities that follow them.
That's you
and
guys.
A positive aspect are some of the events that they put on, such as the dueling tournaments.
Hey, how about
Personally,
that?
these days, I'm more in favor
How
of
about
streamers
that?
because I like the events, but I'm also a streamer myself, so I
Okay.
guess not the most objective person to ask.
Big true.
There do exist videos on some of the reasons why people avoid streamer servers,
Yep.
which you may find handy. I think this
Yep.
one by Classic Wins covers most of it pretty well, and you
Made
can find
sense.
that in the description. There also exists a website called avoidstreamers.com that you may also find handy. Here you can find a full list of all of the bigger streamers and what impact.
Why is Forzen very high? Why is Lyric very high? Like, Mizkif is high? Oh my god. Very, very high.
that they have on the game, so do what you will with all of that. So, you got your
Okay.
race, your class, and
Okay.
server picked.
Yep.
Now what? Well, now you need a name, of course.
X
And if you're
Killa.
like me, this is something you can spend hours on in the character creation screen, so it's best to think of that now. Start
That's good.
making a list of your top names in order so you can get in there right away when the game launches.
Yep.
And this depends on when you're watching this video, but you can reserve your name 2 weeks prior to the launch. Do note though that you have to be subscribed, which may or may not be worth it to you.
Blizzard
Appearance
just
can
get that
also be
little bit of
tough.
extra money out of
Luckily
you.
though, there do exist many websites out there that emulate the character creation options for Classic.
Yep.
A popular one is WoWhead,
Mm-hmm.
so that might be something that you want to mess with before release, especially if you want
I'm
to
gonna
pick
make
a
my guy
popular
the exact
name
same as
and
he
you're
used to
waiting
be.
that first day for those name reservations.
He's gonna be
I'll
the
have that
exact
linked in the
same.
description. And another tough decision will be your professions.
Yep.
It's pretty advantageous, I feel, to level your professions as you're leveling your character in the game.
I'm not gonna do
especially
that.
if you're gathering, so you should start thinking
I never did that. I just would level all the way to 60. I never cared about professions at all. I could buy the stuff later on. All I cared about was leveling. That's all. That's all the way I've always been.
about that now. For the launch of the game, I really like skinning because it's quick, easy, and it provides a generous amount of silver from just venturing,
Yep.
which will be crucial in the very beginning.
Skinning is really good for
When
making
things
money.
first kick off, the economy will be growing still, and you'll make the majority of your gold from these vendors rather
Yep.
than the auction house. People can't spend any gold if they don't have it yet, so I'll be grabbing skinning myself and get some extra money until level 60, and then switch to my normal profession. And also, make sure that you don't neglect your secondary professions that everyone can train, and that's cooking, fishing, and first aid. As for what professions though, it's another tough decision. Just like with the races and classes, the professions are much more substantial in the game. One in particular that'll give you a tremendous edge over the others.
Engineering is the only
engineering.
profession that
You have a
matters.
variety of bombs and gadgets.
It's
that
the
are
only
super
one that
useful
matters,
for both
period.
PvE and PvP, and it's seen as the quote best because of that.
Yes, it is.
The other
It
ones,
is
for
the
the
best.
most part, don't really have an effect on combat.
Nope.
They're just preference
Not
and
really.
synergy. For example, Herbalism synergizes pretty well with Rogues because they can gather Fade Leaf, which is needed for their blinding powder, and Swift Thistle, which they need for their Thistle Tea. You'll save a lot of gold if you're an Herbalist Rogue.
Yeah.
Again, I did also cover this very thoroughly. Not to just turn this video into a plug for my other videos, but it's such a...
You go blacksmithing, engineering if you're a warrior, period. Anybody that does anything different's an idiot. You can go enchanting, though, because that way you can disenchant gear that you farm. Anything besides that, engineering and blacksmithing or engineering and enchanting, that's it. If you go leatherworking, you're an idiot. If you go mining, you're an idiot. There's no reason to deal with mining. You just buy this stuff. But here's the thing, right? Is you go in there, you're making so much money because you're just doing raids all the time. You're just fucking farming shit. You don't need to worry about fucking mining, dude. What do you mean? That's for clowns, man. Peons are miners. You're a fucking tank. You are the main tank for your guild. Get your guild to pay you money for simply existing.
broad subject, and if I were to go over it here,
that's all there is
we'd be
to
here
it.
for an hour. So again, if you want more detail with that, I'll have another video for you in the description. Add-ons are another thing that you should sort out. In Classic, there are no quest markers nor dungeon maps, and many of the other modern conveniences that the current game offers you. While I personally like it that way, and will be foregoing that stuff,
it's
you
a
may
better
find
game.
the game to be
That's
annoying
what matters.
without it. So
it's
check
a better
out your favorite
game.
add-on site, mine is CurseForge, and go through the add-ons and pick out the ones that you like, and get those installed first thing. A popular one is Questy, which handles all of the questing waypoints, just like in the current game, so a lot of people like that one in particular. And expanding further on that, you can also mess with your system settings before the servers are up. There's a button off to the right, so set up your graphics and whatnot, and definitely go through that as well. And since we touched on it a bit, there are some things that you should keep in mind with a new server, especially if you're new to Classic. In Vanilla, you'll find that you need to train all of your abilities. You can only get them from class trainers, who can be found in the major cities and low-level questing hubs, and a big mistake that people will make is that they'll train everything. Depending on your professions,
I'm not going to train
you'll find that
Thunderclap.
early
I don't want to
on,
use
you'll
it.
be
I don't
barely
like it.
scraping along with gold, so it's wise to look at each skill and only train the best ones. For example, maybe you can forgo some of the hunter tracking in exchange for a new serpent sting.
I'm still planning. A lot of people have been wondering about this. I am still planning on holding true to my my agreement to not accept trades from anyone until I actually finish getting my epic mount. Now, once I get my epic mount, I want to make sure this is clear. Once I get my epic mount, I'm going to be accepting trades like a motherfucker, dude. I'm going to be taking as much money as I possibly can. I'm not going to care about anything else. I'm just going to be begging for money constantly, begging for profession items, begging for consumables, never buying consumables. I need to repair. I beg for money in Stormwind. I take off my clothes and I put them in my full inventory, so I have to throw things away instead of vendoring them because I'm lazy. Then I beg for the gold that I could have gotten from vendoring the items that I threw away. It's going to be just disgusting, okay? But I won't do any of that until I get my epic mount. Legitimately.
Whoa. That changes everything.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to just sit around and farm a bunch of dumbass fucking bullshit. It's going to take forever. There's no way I'm going to do that. Like, I mean, I don't want to have to. Like, it's better for me. I'm just not going to do it. Fuck that, dude. What makes that any better? Because the rest of it is just upkeep time, and I don't really care about it. But I think the epic mount is really the only... It's like the capstone for, like, getting things in Classic WoW.
Or maybe the Warrior's Pummel ability isn't all that crucial to level up right away, since it's just some extra damage. So, just something to keep in mind. Super useful for saving up for your mount. So
no, here's the thing, right? Is like I would other people won't wait. Yeah, I would never use consumables for raids if I didn't have them given to me. I never would do it because it's a waste of my fucking money. We're gonna kill the raid anyway. The reason we're wiping is not because of a fucking consumable. Why would I waste my time with a fucking flask? Think about this. Back in the day, we used to have a, remember whenever your raid leader would do a ready check and then it would announce who has a flask and a food buff on? What I did in order to get around that is I would buy elixirs of Lion's Strength. 4 strength. And I'd put them on whenever I was raiding in Burning Crusade and also in Wrath of the Lich King after that. just so I could fake the add-on, and the add-on wouldn't notice it. I would never spend the money on flasks. I never gave a fuck. And you know what? We never wiped because I didn't do enough DPS. We never did.
Talk about that as well. You get your 60% speed mount at level 40, and your 100% speed at level 60, and of course no flying in Classic. And you may have heard that it's quite a feat to be able to afford it at the appropriate level, and it's absolutely true. Not taking any discounts into consideration, between the mount and training,
it's very hard to farm out that
100 gold total, and 100% cost 1,000, which is a small fortune in Classic. You can get 10% off by reaching Honored with the appropriate faction, and another 10% from reaching rank 3 in PvP, which is quite easy. Unless you're using the auction house, the level 40 training is very tight, usually requiring you to go out of your way to farm some gold, and maybe level up your professions.
I'm just going to need roll on everything and vendor people's gear.
It's a bit more tricky because, like I mentioned, no one really has any
just
gold
like
to spend at that point. You can pull it off, I'm sure, but it's just going to take a bit more effort. I always say that fishing is low-key the best profession for gold while leveling. There are low-level fish that are super valuable that at high levels will be too lazy to farm, and it's always worth it if you saw an oily blackmouth school to go fish it up. These are used for free action potions, which is one of the best potions in the game, even at max level. The deviate fish is
they were
used
good
for
even
the
at
savory
80.
deviate delight, which is one of the few appearance-altering items back then. Also super valuable. All this is to say, though, if you start saving early and watching your spell training and getting your professions locked down from launch, you'll be in a much better position for affording your mounts.
You just go in there with a plan.
Training.
That's what matters.
And some more miscellaneous tips here, or if you plan on going hardcore in the launch, is to go for the title charm. In the Arathi Highland Zone, located in the waters right here, is the NPC Prince Nazjac.
Don't go for that
and he can drop a trinket called the title charm, which stuns a target for 3 seconds. Due to the shortage of trinkets in general in Classic, this is insanely good, particularly for PvP, and it's something that's going to be insanely camped even at the max level. So, if you plan on no-lifing it, and you're one of the first to reach level 41-ish, definitely check this out to see if you spawned. And in the same vein, if you're a hunter, you're going to want to tame Broken Tooth. Back in Classic, before everything was homogenized, hunter pets had different attack speeds.
It's like a 1.0 attack speed.
Also insane in Classic.
He's the fastest one there is.
The faster the pet, the better. Broken Tooth is one of 2 pets in the game to have an attack speed of 1.0.
I think the other one is the Rake.
The other being a bat in the Zul'Gurub
Really? Okay,
which
wow.
won't unlock until phase 4.
Okay.
So, as soon as you hit level 37, you should check out his spawn locations, which can be found right here in the Badlands, and see if you can get lucky, because this will be another thing that'll be super camped at level 60.
Probably.
But let's step outside of the game for a moment, shall we? Into that scary place called the...
It's a good idea to get mine and get more stamina. Yeah, sure, if you have a time machine and go forward into Mists of Pandaria whenever that actually was added into the game. Yeah, it would. Real life tips.
Real world.
Okay. Yeah, so here's what you want to do. Is it Wrath of the Lich King? Oh, I don't even remember. But either way, it wasn't in vanilla WoW. The point is that real world tips, you want to make sure that everybody that loves and cares about you knows that you're going to be ignoring them for at least 1 month. And the only time to ever interact with you is whenever they are bringing you food. That's it. All the other times, all the other stuff, you don't even worry about that. You just purely focus on getting the food. And no one brings me food? Yeah, that's what, yeah, changing the poop sock. Well, it's like, no, you can usually go and take a shit during flight paths. That's usually what I would do, at least.
Burns. Ah, man. Well, the gameplay sucks. I guess the graphics are alright. Uh-oh. Girls. Never mind. Let's get back inside. I didn't sign up for Mythic mode. Let's regroup and study up on other brave souls who've laid the path before us. What you're watching is archived video footage from the original release of the game, November 23rd, 2004.
Look at him, dude. He's ready to go to work.
This surely has some useful information in it.
He's playing on a laptop with Windows
This is the World of Warcraft at 10:45. We're still installing it.
Oh, boy.
We plan on playing for at least 12 to 13 hours. We're going to document it.
12 to 13 hours?
There it is,
What is this amateur bullcorn?
There it is.
Let's go through the... What?
More than 12 to 13 hours.
Good call.
That only put us at 11 o'clock.
Okay, that's what I like
look
to
at
hear.
that.
Getting serious now.
He's
And
ready.
hey, look, They even picked up the collector's edition, so you gotta give them some respect.
Yep.
And of course, they've come prepared.
Could that
Bag
be
full of
supplies for
Doritos
today's
from 7-Eleven.
special event?
Yeah.
Hark,
I'm gonna
show
be
us.
locked in here.
That's great, dude.
Yeah.
Some fucking
Now that's what I
Pepsis,
like
dude.
to see. Okay, as far as
Oh,
food is
man.
concerned, your first tip is to get the most unhealthy stuff imaginable.
Yep.
Dr. Pepper,
Yep.
Doritos, Hot Pockets.
Yep.
This is fuel for true gamers.
Yep.
The trick is to deny your body of real food. The combination of constantly being on the brink of death and a nonstop diarrhea will prevent you from sleeping, thus
true.
allowing you more time to get those precious levels.
Very good point.
What level you done?
Very good point.
5. Silk, it's 340. What's your status?
Angry.
Why is that?
Because of lag. And I keep getting booted. And I can't see my body.
Anger
Some things never change, right? 2004, the game's fucked. 2019, still fucked.
because he keeps getting
Same
booted.
problems too.
Well, then it's definitely the original release.
Yeah, this is
But
a real
take note,
thing.
no matter how pissed you get, you never stop playing.
That's
Just
right.
pound another chocolate pudding cup and get back in there.
Yep.
And speaking of which, though, let's talk a bit more about your food of choice. We're up to a good start here. Dr. Pepper, love that DP. Doritos,
I love DP too.
chocolate pudding. But your feces is still a bit too solid at this point.
Yep.
Just to be sure, let's throw in some gummy bears, some nachos, and of course the go-to staple, Taco Bell. Of course, having your mom order and deliver it to you.
Yep.
We don't want any social interaction,
Yep,
do
there
we?
it is.
Diapers are
I
also
knew
going to
it.
be crucial. Just because you have to go to the
I knew
bathroom a lot doesn't mean you should be away from your computer. However,
That's true.
if you want a more long-term investment to save yourself some cash, you may want to look into something like this.
I like
And
this.
as for your entertainment of choice, you have many options. You always have the sweet comfort of twitch.tv/MadSeason Show to guide you along in your journey.
True.
I even completed my initiation and I'm participating in the cat throwing Olympics, the sport of choice for any Twitch streamer. But that's about it. The
Holy
release of
shit!
Classic isn't far now. I hope that you're leaving this video a bit more prepared and you're ready for the world of Warcraft.
Okay, dude. I'm fucking ready, man.
Dude,
I'm fucking ready. 20 days.
Farewell for now.
out of all people,
We hope you enjoyed.
I expected to throw
See you
shots.
again.
I never expected him, man.